sponsored by the Software Sustainability Institute, and the key word here is sustainability. Constantly evolving and changing technology is one of the key challenges facing digital preservation practitioners. New ways of storing digital information are continuously being created, and older ways become obsolete and unsupported. The profession must therefore adapt and find new approaches to ensure long-term access to this information. This has always been an interesting and exciting category to judge. The judges for this category were concerned not only with the novelty of the submissions, but also crucially their practical sustainability.
I think that all of these efforts by the finalists have the potential to make a substantial impact in these same contexts, either by providing solutions that others can adopt or by setting examples of excellence that we can all strive for.
To begin with, my research is multidisciplinary. In its epicenter, there is the fusion of traditional archaeology with 3D technologies. To pinpoint my subject, I'm specializing in the preservation of archaeological virtual reconstructions. Through my research, I have discovered that virtual reconstructions are a blend of scientific and artistic creativity. So I set out to find what could be an effective strategy for the preservation of these hybrid digital objects. In order to allow effective and cost-efficient digital preservation strategies to be adopted, the chain of custody of the data needs to be started in the ground by the archaeologist. The major outcome of my research is a preservation framework. Towards the development of this framework, I have firstly recommended to the archaeologists what research data to record and how. My recommendations were focused on open preservation formats for data that will later feed into the production of virtual reconstructions. My recommendation to the latter is to record every decision during the creative design process because it is important for the future user to know which part of the 3D model is based on scientific evidence and which is conjecture. To do this, some practical aspects were considered. For example, could these types of digital objects be emulated? Based on the requirements of the targeted user communities, 20-year-old virtual reconstructions were tested on emulation platforms to see if they can be accessed this way, and if so, do they maintain their original look and feel? Lo and behold, the final results were very positive. My recommended framework is not a silver bullet. However, it provides a practical starting point for memory institutions to make decisions about the long-term preservation of hybrid digital objects submitted to their collections. Finally, the significance of keeping scientifically authenticated virtual reconstructions lies in the preservation of the ability to visit a structure remotely, to examine its otherwise inaccessible details, and eventually observe how it has changed over time.
We'll start with the problem that we're trying to solve. What you see here are figures from the latest IDC study on the global data sphere about the exponential growth of the amount of data that we are creating and storing and the amount of storage devices that are being shipped every year. And it's clear and apparent that we are having a gap in 2025, by 2025, a big gap of a few zettabytes, which means that we'll need to throw away some of the data or decide not to store some data that might be proven important in the future. And not only that, we have issues with the physical scaling of current storage devices. The LTO roadmap is not able to keep up with the predictions. The hard drives are not able to scale as fast as they scaled in the past. And we're reaching the physical limits of those technologies. In addition to that, there is a demand for media diversity, especially in digital preservation, where it's so important not to be dependent on one technology. Right now, tape is the only true archive medium. And having that with a limited amount of manufacturers puts us in a problem, in a challenge, and we need another storage medium for archival. The current mediums, both hard drive and tape, has a limited longevity, especially for digital preservation, where we need to store data for hundreds of years, if not thousands of years, as tape and hard drives typically last between 7 to 10 years as we need to migrate them. What DNA enables is a century-scale archive storage solution and storage medium that can last for centuries without the need of special equipment, energy consumption, and migrations. The beauty in DNA is that data is the medium. It's a true software-defined storage. When DNA comes out of the factory, it comes out basically with the data on it. It's not an empty medium that we ship to the customer and the customer can rewrite it. So it's a mutable storage medium. It's very stable. And unlike other mediums, we'll always be able to read natural DNA. This is why when we find fossils in the ground that are thousands of years old, we're able to read the DNA perfectly. So this is a unique value proposition that was never been offered for the storage industry and specifically for digital preservation. Initially, it will address deep archive use cases, and in the future, also accessible archive.
Since the early 2000s, there has been an explosion in the amount and variety of archives and archival data available digitally, creating both opportunity and challenge. Recent scholarship has shown the potential of linked data to overcome some of these challenges. Existing research into archival linked data has focused on individual projects detailing technological aspects of the process of producing and publishing linked data. The benefits that linked data can bring to the archive sector in general remain little understood, and its role in ensuring the future sustainability of digital assets has not been considered. The aim of my research was to address these gaps in scholarship by exploring how archive services and their users can benefit from increased engagement with linked data and considering what barriers are preventing the archive sector from fully experiencing these benefits. This research identified 3 core areas of benefit. Enriching archival data. Data enrichment activities constitute a fundamental aspect of linked data activity at an institutional level. By creating links to other data sources, improving the granularity and quality of archival data, and sharing it more widely, the value and power of archival data is increased, providing larger volumes of increased quality, better contextualized and interconnected data, creates the foundation for user empowerment and contributes towards the future-proofing of the archive sector by increasing their visibility, interoperability, and the value of archival data. Empowering users. The adoption of linked data empowers users through providing improved search processes, increasing access to and ease of use of archival data, facilitating new methods of engagement and analysis, and meeting the needs of a wider range of users. The benefit is reliant upon the production of high-quality archival data, which is shared, widely disseminated, and interlinked with a broader knowledge domain. Future-proofing the archive sector. The adoption of linked data can contribute towards the future-proofing of the archive sector by enabling the sector and individual archive services to take steps towards preparing their archives, data, and processes to ensure future preservation and access in the long term through improving archival processes, expanding the profile of the archive sector, and ensuring future sustainability. The key outcome of this research is that its results contribute towards the future expansion of linked data implementation in the archive sector by providing the comprehensive and cohesive evidence base required to support the high levels of investment necessary at both the sectoral and individual archive service level. Firstly, to enable the development of best practice standards and guidelines. Secondly, to allow for the increased production of archival linked datasets. And thirdly, to allow for development of tools and interfaces to enable users to meaningfully engage with those datasets. The research provides a clear articulation of the benefits of linked data for archives, interrogation of barriers currently inhibiting their realization, and examination of emerging areas of opportunity, all vital steps to enable the implementation of linked data in archives to become standard as part of robust data publishing and preservation practices. A further benefit of the research is that it has identified areas of related subsequent research. Of particular urgency is the need to investigate linked data's ability to provide a robust preservation format for archival data, explore how best to utilize its inherent capacity to support sustainability through interoperability and reuse, and to develop workflows that ensure the long-term preservation of linked data datasets. Addressing these problems will have great impact in ensuring linked data's ability to contribute to the future sustainability of archival data and digital assets.